Rick, what was your initial reaction when you heard Zakai Zeigler was out with an ACL?
Well, you know, I hate to say it, I felt it when I walked over to him. I've been doing this a long time, and just the way he went down, and you knew he was hurt because he never stays down. I've seen him go down before, turn his ankle or something, but he popped back up. But when I walked up and where he was grabbing his leg, that was my first thought, you know, and because again, I've seen it too many times, and so that was really my first thought. That's what I thought had happened.
You said you'd go point guard by committee. Is there one that will take that load more heavily than others?
I don't think so. You know, we'll you know, obviously Santi could go there, but once the game starts, I mean, and we get going, other than dead ball situations, I mean, whoever gets it can go with it, and but otherwise, and we could change it throughout the game, but I would obviously think that Santi would be the first guy that would be there with it. But like I said, we all those guys at some point in time has handled the ball, and we'll go that way with it.
And you'll have Tyreek Key back?
He'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back. Mm-hmm.
Coach, this is probably far-fetched, but Zakai out, any chance of looking at Freddie, like making him active?
No, no. We would. I think BJ1 has done a good job for us. I mean, he's a guy that we really do have confidence in, and as it gets later in the year, obviously, as you guys know, the possessions become very valuable. But he's handled himself well, and we have confidence in him, and we know that we've got him, and he'll do his job in terms of getting ready. He'll prepare the right way.
Coach, with the tournament in mind and seeding at stake, talk about the importance, if you will, of finishing strong Saturday.
Well, that's the key. I don't think all about the other stuff. I mean, because I know it changes from day to game, week to week, and I think it's about the next game, and that's where I really appreciate these guys. I think they've stayed focused on just that, the process, in terms of coming out every day, trying to understand what we need to do to prepare for the next game and going about it, and I expect them to do that today and tomorrow, and then we'll go obviously finish up the regular season at Auburn, and wherever we land, we'll get ready for the next one.
Is there almost... Was the guy getting hurt this late in the year? Is there concern about early next season that he would be slowed down by then?
You know, I've with all the different guys I've had that have gone through this, they all kind of move at their own pace. I mean, I've had players that they felt after 6 weeks they could play, and it'll be up to again, and he'll do it. Like right now, they're doing the rehab to get him ready for surgery, and he's going to work at it as hard as anybody can possibly work at it. But I mean, whatever he has to do. I mean, I will always go back. He walked in here 5 days after school started and asserted himself, and right from the beginning. So whatever his rehab takes, whenever he's ready to come back, he'll come back and be ready to go.
In an odd way, would there be an upside to not securing a double bye in Nashville and giving this team more of a chance to gel without Zakai?
That you can look at it any way you want to look at it. And that's the way you can look at it. I mean, you know, obviously with Zakai being out, you know, whoever we put in, we get a little bit longer and with length. And yeah, you could look at it. And I think that's how you have to look at it. Whatever falls your way, you've got to look at it like, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be, and we've got to make the most of it.
Some of the players have talked about how Zakai is the energy leader on this team. How do y'all recreate that energy, especially now being away from home the rest of the season?
Well, I think what they did the other night, they looked at each other and said, we've got to collectively continue to do what we've done with it, and other guys will be able to impact the game in a different way. But I mean, we've talked about what he's brought to the program through the years, and we're going to have to get him to whoever, you know, other guys will be asked to step in here and do some other things, and at this time of year, you know, we need those exclamation points where guys are willing to go out and really make something happen.
With Auburn being desperate to make the tournament and coming off an emotional loss last night, just how big of a challenge is Saturday going to be for you all?
It'll be a big challenge. I mean, it's going to be a big challenge whether they won last night or not. I mean, and you know, they played great basketball last night and certainly had themselves in position to win that game, and which you got to give them great credit. I mean, that was probably the toughest situation as you could go into there, and I thought handled themselves extremely well. And so win or lose, we knew Saturday, we knew it's going to be a challenge any way you want to look at it, and we're going to have to go in and be prepared.
First matchup was a low-scoring slugfest. Would you expect something similar?
Well, looking back, I thought both teams missed shots. You know, both teams had some good looks at it and missed some shots with it. But you know, this time of year, I think you go into every game knowing it's going to be difficult because everybody's wanting to win games, and regardless of where they might be. And So we expect it to be a hard-fought game.
Coach, Jonas played 30 minutes the other night, career high. What's he doing that makes you want to keep him out there on the court?
Well, what he did the other night was when defensively, he did exactly what we needed him to do from a defensive standpoint, and that was playing against a team that relies heavy on ball screens, putting them in ball screens, and we changed coverage different times, and whatever coverage we called, he was pretty much on top of it, and that's where he hasn't been as consistent as we'd like him to be, but in his length, I mean, I thought he did a good job the other night too, playing long and not really slapping down and unnecessary fouls, and he is continuing to get himself in good spots on our driving game where he can catch and score. He had a great dump-off dunk there, but again, just I like to think that he's starting to figure it out and the consistency of what we need him to do every night.
Coach, you said you're going to get longer. I saw you went to a 3-big lineup last game. How often do you think you'll use that lineup moving forward?
Well, you know, obviously, with regardless of who goes in the game in Zakai's spot, you know, we're longer. You know, whether it's BJ, I mean, you know, he's 6'2", 6'3", and Tyreek will come back, and but again, game to game, I can't tell you. We go into each game, and what I admire about these guys, they've been resilient, and I said it the other night that some guys play 25 minutes, next game play 3. But whatever those minutes are, we need them to play, and I think we need everybody, which is proven out. And so whatever the game, whatever way it takes, whatever shape it takes, we've got to be ready.
Where in particular has BJ improved that gives you confidence that he can fill in for Zakai these last couple of games?
Well, again, I'm not saying he's going to fill in. I mean, that's a lot of minutes. I'm saying he's a guy that we know that we're not afraid to put out there. And where he's improved, he's learned a lot of things. The first thing that all these guys have to learn to do is how to practice the right way every day and what goes into playing at this level. I mean, there's a lot that we ask from our guys, and he's been great at that. He's been a great teammate, and I think he's learned a great deal. And I think he would tell you one of the great advantages that he's had is getting to guard Zakai and Santi every day. That's been and he has from day one. I mean, all summer he had to go up against Zakai, and then once Santi got back, and had to guard a different kind of player. And so, and through all that, I think he's kept his head up, and he's continued to learn. He's been really coachable, and he knows, like all of us, we've all got to get better, but he, maturity-wise, the one thing I like about him, and as a coach, is we'd all agree that I don't think he's been overwhelmed by going into game. We don't think that too many things really affect him, and that's why, again, all that put together is why we've got confidence in him.
How's Zakai been doing emotionally last 2 days? I
think each day a little bit better. I mean, obviously after the game last night, it was, I mean, it's surreal to him. I mean, obviously because I'm not sure he's ever, I don't know if any player's ever 100%, but he's a guy, like I said, he's going to say, I'm good. I mean, that's who he is. I'm good. You ask him how he's doing, I'm good. And I've seen him go down many times and get back up. But after the game, you know, he was emotional because, you know, when it happens, you're like, did it really happen? And each and every day, you know, he's put a lot of time back there with Chad already, doing the rehab he needs to do. And I was kidding him today about being tough. You know, I said, you know, if you're really tough, you'll come back. He said, well, I'm coming back then, you know, today. You know, and he said, you tell me what I need to do. And then he would do that. I promise you, if I told him, we need you to tape it up as tight as you can and play, he would do it. I promise you. He's the kind of guy that would do that. And if it would be for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, anything to help his team. But he's such a spirited person and player, and it's tough seeing him back there like that because you know where his heart is and what he wants to do. But he won't lose his role on this team in terms of the way he'll impact a game from the bench these last couple games or weeks as we get through to the end of the year. He'll stay really involved, engaged with his teammates.
I know you want to play your best at this time of year. What do you like about where you are right now?
I think defensively, you know, we're still, and our movement's been good. You know, the last 2 games, I think we've had a really good combination of our cutting game and ball screen game, our driving game. I think we've been able to put a lot of different things together where guys are, I think, getting more and more comfortable. And I think obviously defensively, players have been really locked into what we want to do on that end. And I just think it's the players, their mindset right now, knowing that we still got a chance to do all that we set out to do.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.